PSG 2-2 Spurs, August 13, 2025 game analysis. Paris Saint-Germain snatched victory from the jaws of defeat to win the UEFA Super Cup against Tottenham Hotspur. Spurs, under new manager Thomas Frank, took a commanding 2-0 lead thanks to set-piece goals from Mickey van de Ven and Christian Romero. However, PSG staged a dramatic comeback in the closing stages with late goals from substitutes Lee Kong-in and Goncalo Ramos, forcing the match into a penalty shootout. The shootout itself was a roller coaster. Vitinha missed PSG's first penalty, giving Tottenham the early advantage. However, subsequent misses by Tottenham's Van de Ven and Matthijs Telephone ultimately paved the way for PSG's victory. Nuno Mendes scored the decisive penalty, securing a fifth trophy for PSG in 2025. The match was a thrilling encounter, showcasing both teams' strengths and weaknesses. Tottenham's strong start and effective set-piece play contrasted with PSG's resilience and ability to turn the game around under pressure. The late goals and the tense penalty shootout made for a memorable Super Cup final. This win marks another significant achievement for PSG, adding to their Champions League triumph earlier this year. For Tottenham, despite the loss, the match provided a valuable test under their new manager and a promising start to their season.
In our next story, PSG 2-2 Tottenham, 4-3 pins. Spurs let 2-0 lead slip in closing stages to miss out on UEFA Super Cup. Paris Saint-Germain edged out Tottenham Hotspur in a thrilling UEFA Super Cup clash, winning 5-3 on penalties after a 2-2 draw. Tottenham, under new manager Thomas Frank, employed a surprising 3-5-2 formation, effectively neutralizing PSG's attack for much of the game. Two expertly executed set-piece goals, one from each of Van de Ven and Romero, gave Spurs a 2-0 lead. PSG's late surge saw Lee Kong-in pull one back before Goncalo Ramos equalized in injury time, sending the match to penalties. While Vitinha missed PSG's first penalty, Chevalier, PSG's new goalkeeper, made a crucial save, and ultimately PSG converted their remaining attempts to secure the victory. Tottenham's spirited performance, however, showcased their potential despite the loss. Despite the defeat, Tottenham's performance against the Champions League winners was a significant positive for Frank in his first competitive game. Their tactical approach, focusing on set pieces and a solid defensive structure, highlighted their ability to compete with top-tier teams. The match showcased the potential of several young players, including Kudus, Spence, and Sarr, who impressed against PSG's star-studded lineup. The penalty shootout itself was dramatic, featuring misses from both sides. Tottenham's early lead was squandered as PSG's composure and Chevalier's save proved decisive in their comeback win. The game ended with a celebratory PSG and a disappointed, but hopeful, Tottenham team. In our next story, Texas Democrats to return after Governor N's special session that included redistricting, sources say. Texas House Democrats, who left the state to block a vote on new congressional maps, are planning to return this weekend. Their departure successfully stalled Governor Greg Abbott's first special session, achieving their primary goal. The Democrats claim victory, citing raised awareness and a national backlash against the mid-decade redistricting effort as evidence of their success. However, their return is contingent on Republicans' adherence to their promise to initiate a second special session on Friday, focusing on issues other than redistricting. The Democrats emphasize their intention to prioritize aid for flood victims over further redistricting efforts. Governor Abbott and House Speaker Dustin Burrows have announced that the first special session will adjourn on Friday if the Democrats don't return. A second special session will immediately follow, encompassing all items from the first session and potentially additional legislation. The governor has reiterated his commitment to using special sessions, which can last up to 30 days, to ultimately pass the new congressional maps. The Democrats' actions have sparked a political showdown, with the focus shifting to the governor's next move and the potential for further legislative battles.
In our next story, James Cook. We paid now, so let's go play football. Buffalo Bills running back James Cook has signed a 4-year contract extension, ending his brief hold in. Cook, who returned to full practice on Tuesday, stated he was prioritizing his health and securing his future. He indicated he felt confident a deal was imminent upon his return to the field. The team's general manager, Brandon Beane, confirmed a mutual understanding existed. Practice participation was a prerequisite for contract negotiations. This agreement facilitated the successful resolution of the dispute. Cook's decision to return to practice demonstrates his commitment to the Bills' Super Bowl aspirations. He emphasized his desire to enter the season with a clear and focused mindset. The contract signing ensures Cook will remain a key contributor to the Buffalo Bills offense this season and beyond, bolstering their chances of a successful campaign.
In our next story, Priscilla Presley lawsuit details power struggle over Graceland. Priscilla Presley is facing a $50 million lawsuit from her former business partners, Bridget Cruz and Kevin Fialco, who allege fraud and breach of contract. The lawsuit claims Presley secretly sold her name and brand rights years ago but failed to disclose this while securing lucrative investments from Cruz and Fialco, ultimately leaving their business in ruins. The partners allege that Presley exploited her name and likeness for personal gain, including appearances on NBC's Christmas at Graceland, while excluding them from profits and falsely accusing them of elder abuse. The lawsuit further alleges that Presley's actions were motivated by a power struggle over Lisa Marie Presley's trust. Following Lisa Marie's death, Priscilla Presley fought to maintain control of the trust and Graceland, even allegedly interfering with Lisa Marie's medical treatment. The complaint details Priscilla Presley's alleged statement, "I'm the queen. I'm in charge of Graceland," following her daughter's passing. The dispute escalated after a settlement in a prior lawsuit involving a $2.4 million payment to Priscilla Presley. This involved the A24 film adaptation of Priscilla Presley's memoir, where Cruz and Fialco secured additional compensation for her, only to be later disinvited from the film premiere. They maintain that all business dealings were legitimate and that they are the victims of betrayal and false accusations. A lawyer for Cruz and Fialco asserts that ample evidence confirms the legitimacy of their partnership and refutes accusations of coercion or elder abuse. Priscilla Presley's legal team has not yet responded to requests for comment.